It's okay to acknowledge that you're transitioning into a new field, but focus on what you bring to the role rather than what you lack. Highlight your enthusiasm, your ability to learn quickly, and your dedication to succeeding in your new career. I'm Lisa Harding, ex-EdTech CEO turned certified teacher career coach. It wasn't all that long ago that I was recruiting, interviewing, and hiring teachers for roles in corporate America. Teachers that ended up being some of my all-time best employees. Fast forward through my own career transition, where I left my role as CEO to become a stay-at-home mom, I now work with and empower teachers to transform their lives by turning their once distant career dreams into realities. In this podcast, I give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you do the same. If you're a burnt-out teacher or simply need a change and you're looking to create a life you love, you're in the right place, friend. Let's get started. Hello there, friends, and welcome back. It's Lisa Harding here for another fun Q&A session on Ask the Coach. We've got some fantastic questions today that have come in from our listeners across the country as they are navigating their career transitions, and I'm excited to get started. If you are out there and you have a question that you would like to ask the coach and be featured on a future episode, please make sure you use the form linked in our show notes to send them our way. In today's episode, we will be tackling these three questions. Number one, how can I figure out what type of job I'm suited for outside of teaching? Number two, what should I include in a career change cover letter? And number three, how can I effectively explain my lack of direct experience in a new field? So let's jump right into our first question, which comes from a listener today in California. Her name is Sarah, and she wrote in to ask the coach, how can I figure out which job type I'm suited for outside of teaching? And thank you so much for this question, Sarah. This is a big one. We get this question all the time in our Facebook group, and it's, of course, top of mind for all of our members of the Teacher Career Transition Academy. It is a very crucial first step to making a career change. The good news is that there are several things that you can do to help you discover what role may be a good fit. And we see folks asking other teachers all the time what they're doing and starting to research on their own. And that really is a great way to begin this, is researching, asking other teachers, just hearing about other careers, because so many times people will say, oh, I didn't even know that that was a career, or I had no idea that that was a job. So a big part of this is research and just hearing what other teachers are doing. Now, an easy way to do that, if you would like, we do have a teacher career directory, and I will drop a link so that you can grab a free copy in the show notes. We have put this together with teachers that we work with. There are over 200 career profiles that are listed, and we include average U.S. salary range, occupational outlook. There's an interest in skills inventory that will show you if this is a type of career that might align with your interest and skills. Of course, a description. So kind of just scanning over a list like this, I think is a really great way to just open your mind to different types of careers that are out there. There are also assessment tools on the web, career tools like Myers-Briggs or Strengths Finders is one that will help you identify your strengths. But I also believe that this is something that you can do on your own. So in addition to just kind of researching and learning about new careers, and the directory is a great place to do that, you also need to start doing self-reflection to identify what your particular strengths are. One great exercise that you can do is write down all of your duties and all of the things that you did as a teacher. Then go back and circle the ones that you were great at, or that you felt that you were really good at those tasks. Then go back and highlight the ones that you enjoyed or that brought you joy. This is going to be a great way to narrow down where your passions and your strengths overlap. And I think this is a great exercise to get you going as far as identifying what you enjoy doing. We do have additional career exploration activities within the Teacher Career Transition Academy. There's a whole module on career exploration. So if you are seeking more help, make sure you check that out. The other thing that we include in the Teacher Career Transition Academy that you can do completely yourself, and I definitely recommend that you do this throughout your entire career change process, but it is conducting informational interviews. If you are new to this term, an informational interview is simply setting up time to chat with someone and just ask them a few questions. And this is important at different steps of your career change process, but especially in the beginning when you are starting to identify careers that you may be interested in. It's a great idea to reach out and find people who are currently in those careers and just ask them, hey, do you have 5 or 10 minutes that I could learn a little bit about your day-to-day and open up a conversation about what that career is really like, how that person got into that career. And you can set these up with career-changing teachers that went from the classroom into that career, but I also recommend setting them up with professionals that are in that field, especially as you move through your career change process and you are preparing for interviews. The more folks that you can talk to, the better. And you really need to and want to fully understand what that job role is before you apply and especially before you interview. Now, within the Teacher Career Transition Academy, we have recorded countless Q&A sessions with career-changing teachers who have gone into other fields. So if you're listening to this and you are a member of the Academy, make sure you check out the Career Exploration Library. There are recorded in-depth Q&A sessions with career-changing teachers. You can explore a variety of careers. You can also go out and conduct these yourself. And using LinkedIn is a really great way to find these folks. So if you're asking yourself, how do I even connect with someone? LinkedIn is going to be your best friend. The other thing that you can do while you're trying to identify what career might be next is we talked about doing your own assessment of your skills and interests and passions, but another activity that we encourage teachers to participate in is to ask a family member, a friend, a colleague, someone that knows you very well, and ask them what they think your skills and interests are. And sometimes it's just eye-opening to see another perspective of how someone else views you, and maybe you overlooked something about yourself because you are so close to that subject matter. Another great piece of advice, and this isn't for everyone, just depending on your current workload and your current work-life balance and where you are in your career change, but if you are able to take on side projects or do freelancing work, sometimes folks are picking up unpaid internships just to get experience. This is something that will really help you in your career exploration process as you try different projects. We also have a member of the Academy, and this is just an example. He's interested in getting into Scrum and potentially being a Scrum Master. So he's been learning something called the Agile Framework, which is part of being a Scrum Master, but he is applying that knowledge and that approach to his teaching, which I think is fantastic. So as you research a different career, if you find out that everyone in that career is using a certain tool or they're following a certain process or procedure, you can begin to implement some of that in your classroom just to see if that is something that you might like to do. Now, that particular tip might not align with everyone, but if you hear something in the career that you think, oh, I could try that in conjunction with teaching, that's always a great step. So I hope that this gives you some great ideas on how to begin your career change process and things that you can and should be thinking about as you start to wonder what career is next for me. Let's move on to our next question. It comes from my home state here of Florida, and Tom asks, what should I include in a career change cover letter? This is a great question, Tom, because your cover letter is a crucial marketing tool that you need to have in your toolbox as you are going out trying to find a new career. So here's a few quick tips and tricks for that. And if you are a member of the Academy, I actually have my personal cover letter template in there for Academy members, as well as the coaching on how to fill it out. If you are going on your own, totally great. There are some tips and tricks I would love to share with you today. I like to approach the cover letter from a copywriting standpoint. As a former hiring manager, I would review literally hundreds of cover letters. And to be honest, all of them look exactly the same. They're very, very text heavy. There's paragraph after paragraph. And to be honest, they're very daunting to look through. And I would, for the most part, skim them to look for things that would make me want to stop and read it more in depth. So what I want you to do is cut through all of that clutter and use block formatting. Again, I have my template in the Academy, but try to keep it to short paragraphs, use bulleted lists, a lot of white space, and you can even Google copywriting paragraph forms. You want it to be visually appealing to the eye. So I think format really for me on the cover letter is super important. People don't love to read blocks and blocks of text. So breaking that up with white space and bullet points is probably my number one tip. Other than that, you definitely want to start with a strong opening and make sure it's immediately noticeable what position you're applying for and explain why you're interested and why your background makes a great fit. Now, since you are changing careers, you want to do a great job of highlighting your transferable skills in that cover letter. So focus on skills and experience from your teaching career that are relevant to the job that you're applying for. For example, if you're applying for a role in project management, you might mention how your experience in organizing and planning lessons or managing the classroom or coordinating events with parents or teachers has prepared you for the job. You also want to try to express your excitement and your motivation for wanting to make a career change. Anything you can do to demonstrate your enthusiasm, make sure you've done your homework on the company, find something about the company that resonates with you and make that reference. And you can even make a cover letter template so that, there's just one section that you change for every company and you update it with something relatable that you know about the company and why that makes the company a perfect fit for you. I always like to say that you want the person reading the cover letter to think that they're the only job that you want. You want them to read this and say wow, this person, this is their dream job to work here. I want to give them a chance. You also want to close with confidence, so make sure that you are asking for that next step. You could say something like, I look forward to meeting with you more in person to discuss how I could be a great fit for your team, and end with a strong closing confidence piece at the end. So you just want to make a compelling case for why you are a right fit for the job. All right, our third question today is coming from the state of Texas. Our listener in Texas, her name is Emily, and she is asking, how can I effectively explain my lack of direct experience in a new field? Today's episode is sponsored by the Teacher Career Transition Academy. Our academy provides expert career coaching, professional resume and cover letter templates, small group coaching sessions, and a supportive peer network. The best way to jumpstart your career change journey is to enroll in my free Beyond the Classroom Masterclass. Visit teachercareertransitionacademy.com/masterclass to enroll now. I'll also drop the link to register for free in the show notes of this episode. This free masterclass is sure to kickstart your journey or give you the boost you need to move the needle if you're already in the career change process. Enroll for free at teachercareertransitionacademy.com/masterclass. Transitioning into a new field without direct experience can absolutely feel daunting. And Emily, I think pretty much every teacher listening to this podcast in the academy or in our Facebook groups has asked themselves this question at least one time. But with the right approach, you can absolutely position yourself as a strong candidate, even if you don't have the direct experience. And it's all about how you focus and on your transferable skills and position those. So while you may not have direct experience in the new field, you likely possess skills that are very highly relevant. For instance, as a teacher, you've developed strong communication, leadership, organizational skills, all of which are very valuable in many industries. In your resume and in your interview, emphasizing these skills and how they apply to the role that you're pursuing is key. You definitely need to make sure that you highlight your related experience, even if it's not from a paid position. So if you've done any volunteering or you've taken on any freelance work, things that you've done in your neighborhood, your church, or side projects, all of those experiences, even if it's not a formal paid job, are going to be very relevant and important to mention. For example, if you're moving into a training role, you might talk about any workshops or training sessions that you've led as a teacher. You want to make sure that you leverage your ability to learn quickly. One of the strengths of being a teacher is that things are changing all the time. You have new curriculum that's coming at you, your administration has a new project or this or that, and I really don't know any group of people that can adapt as quickly as teachers. So you want to lean into that and talk about times where you've been able to learn new material very, very quickly and how you can adapt to different situations. If you're up for it, you can also mention things like you're willing to go above and beyond during after hours to take any training or school yourself or practice or get caught up on any software technologies, and that you are willing to do whatever it takes to adapt, and just mention how quickly you can learn new things. The other thing is that you need to network strategically. And in the academy, we talk about the importance of networking all the time. And networking really needs to start from the moment you decide you want to change careers all the way through helping you land those interviews. And sometimes it's just as important as what you know is who you know. And I know that we've all heard this, but networking can definitely help you get your foot in the door. And even if you lack direct experience, having that referral can sometimes help overcome the hurdle of, is this person really qualified? Should I take a look at their resume? Should I bring them in? So personal recommendations can very often override a lack of direct experience. Finally, just be honest and confident in your interviews. It's okay to acknowledge that you're transitioning into a new field, but focus on what you bring to the role rather than what you lack. Highlight your enthusiasm, your ability to learn quickly, and your dedication to succeeding in your new career. This wraps up our Q&A session for today. I hope Sarah, Tom, and Emily found these answers helpful, as well as all of our listeners out there in the podcast universe. As a takeaway, remember that discovering a new career path involves exploring your strengths, researching potential roles, and networking. When crafting a cover letter, focus on your transferable skills, your motivation for change, and your enthusiasm for the role. And when explaining a lack of direct experience, emphasize your transferable skills, relevant experiences, and your ability to learn quickly. If you have questions for a future episode of Ask the Coach, please use the form linked in our show notes and send them our way. Your questions make this podcast valuable and engaging for our entire audience. So thanks for tuning in today, friends. Please subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed today's episode. And remember, the journey is just the beginning. Embrace the adventure.